Computer. All right, welcome everyone. Today's June 4th, 2026. And this particular training is called Relationship Marketing Secrets to Lifelong Customers, Referrals, and Real Growth. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I'm here with my awesome friend, Cherri. Thanks, Cherri, for being here today. So let's just get right into it. Get started, Cherri.
Absolutely. So this is something, again, like Sue was talking about a little bit ago, is what's relationship marketing? I didn't even know that term existed. It's just something I did in my business, right? In my life. But just in a nutshell, relationship marketing is that strategy that emphasizes building and nurturing long-time relationships with your customers. I take it a step further, your vendors, your employees, everybody you're connected to in business, rather than focusing solely on customer acquisition in those one-time transactions. So the goal here is, as it says here on the screen, relationship marketing is to establish strong and even emotional connections with customers and enhance that customer loyalty that drives repeat business. And we do have some stories to share with that. I've been with my plumbing company for years, and it's all in referral and repeat business because it's exactly what it says here: relationship marketing, relationships versus marketing. A lot of people get this wrong, and I think it's 80% of that time is focused on marketing. Well, it's not. 80% of that time is building and nurturing those relationships that we were talking about just a little bit ago. And then 20% is bringing in that other marketing that we need, whether it's email marketing or social media. And right now, with the noisy world that we live in, you do need to bring in all of it. So,
All right. So let's talk about customer acquisition costs. So I think a big mistake that a lot of business owners make is they don't know how much it costs to get a customer. So if you really think about it, I always say, do you watch Shark Tank? Because on Shark Tank, they always ask, one of the number one things they ask all of the people that are standing on that carpet, how much does it cost you to acquire a customer? If you don't know this, are you making money or are you not making money, right? So here's the formula. You take the total cost what money you spend on sales and marketing, and you divide that by the number of customers you get from that sales and marketing cost that the things that you did, and that's how much it costs. So for example, let's say you put out a Facebook ad and you spend $1,000 on that Facebook ad, and you end up with 2 customers from that ad. Those customers cost you what? $500 each. Not a great. I think it should be a lot lower than that. So instead, you would have to redo, if that happened, you'd have to redo your marketing and your messaging and all that kind of stuff. And if you put $1,000 of marketing on a Facebook ad and you got 1,000 customers, how much would that cost? How much would each customer cost you? $1. So you guys have to understand that. So every single thing you do, the money that you spend, and you can put your time in there too, how much does it cost to get that customer? But here is the big thing, you guys. This is what I want you to understand. Acquiring a new customer is 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. I think the things that you're going to see today are going to help you really dig this in, because here's the problem. People spend more time and money trying to get new customers all the time. We see it every day, don't we, Cherri? Every single day. What do people say? I got to get new customers. Help me get more customers. We have a Friday mastermind. What's our biggest question we get? I need more customers. But you're spending so much time and energy doing that. And what people can do is just take care of and appreciate the ones that you already have. And you're going to see why that is. Because satisfied, happy customers are way more likely to become repeat customers and raving fans. So here's another little thing here. 73% of consumers perceive customer experience as an important factor when making purchasing decisions. You know where I go? It's weird. I'm sure you're all probably thinking of one business that does it really well. And you go there not because maybe the product or service is great, but because the experience is great. And you know where I go to? I go to this restaurant. It was in Santa Clarita, California, and they served the food was good. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best food in the whole world, but it was good. But when you went there, the manager would always come around and talk to you and remember you, and they'd remember what you ordered. I mean, it was crazy. It's like you want the usual. The experience was so great that I ate there every single week. And it wasn't because of the food or the product, it's because of the experience. Repeat business. Your existing customers are your most valuable asset because here's the thing. Customers are more likely to spend more with companies they've already done business with. Existing customers are more likely to purchase additional products and service from you because most of us, hopefully, we all are adding more things we're selling, more opportunities in our business. And the more things that we come up with, they're going to keep buying from you. I have tons of stories without, we don't have time to get into lots of stories here. When you learn what your customers need and want, you can personalize recommendations for relevant products and services. And the biggest thing of all, they will not shop around for a bargain. As long as you maintain really good value, they are not going to shop around. I have a big story with my tutoring business. When I took such good care of my customers, I had to raise my prices. And every time I would raise my prices more, I thought I was going to lose my customers. And you know what happened? I got more customers. And they stayed with me forever because the value I just took such good care of them. So focus on your relationships and your revenue will follow.
I want to jump in on that, Sue, before you go on. So go back to that slide a second. So this just happened again. So all of my business in my plumbing company has been repeat and referral business with all relationship marketing. And just the other day, we decided to bring in that additional service to our company. And we were talking with our contractors who only knew us for new construction. It's like, okay, we're going to bring in service. But guess what, guys? I hate to tell you this, but our prices are going to go from here to here because we're bringing this in. And they were like, I don't care. Do it. Cherri, you get that business created, and in 6 months, you'll pay for that service van. You'll pay for that. They know me, love me, trust me.
I love it.
And that's where the gold is. So now we're going to talk about customer lifetime value. And I love this. I love this slide. I get to talk about it because Sue challenged me one time to do this. And I'm like, she's like, have you ever done your customer lifetime value? And I said, no, what's that? I mean, I've heard it. I've heard the term, but really didn't know what it was. And so she challenged me, and it was this. It was you take the price, what it says, purchase value, multiplied by that frequency, how many times that they're using your services, multiplied again by the length time that you've been doing business with them, creates that lifetime value. So when I did that,
you're gonna see.
yeah, you're gonna see. But what it says here, it creates those strong relationships. It creates greater value and lasting growth.
So we have, I'll give you my first one, and then Cherri's got a pretty amazing one that she's going to share with you. But here's an example. When I had my tutoring business, so I owned a school for many years. It started out tutoring, then I had an after school program, and I had 2 locations. I have a pretty successful business. And I kind of did this for myself, and one student would come in and maybe it was $500 a month. Okay. So I had one student that came in when my very first one, when he was in first grade. So think about this. They came in and they said, we want to sign up for your monthly, whatever we were doing, tutoring and after school program. It was $500 for that month. So in a lot of business owners, like Cherri said, you think, oh, it's that kid's worth $500. Well, no, it's not, because guess what happened? He stayed with me until about when he went to college. For 12 years, that kid was with us. So you take the month 500, you multiply that by the year. So 12 months, that's $6,000 a year he was worth, but then he stayed 12 years. So he was worth $72,000 for my business. But guess what else? That's before all the referrals. I'm not even counting the endless number of referrals. He referred me to schools, to teachers, to people, the neighborhoods. I swear that kid was probably worth $1 million to my business.
Yeah. I wanted to see what I was spending because with this little formula, I was like, oh, what am I spending and using in my own life? And so I took the landscaper. So it's not my yard, but one day it'll look like that when everything grows up. um, the landscaper that I use, I've been paying him $200 a month for about 15 years. Used him pre-fire, so that's why my yard doesn't look like that yet. Anyway, I again wanted to see where I was at. So in $200 times 15 years. Oh, where'd my totals go? Oh, 36,000. You got it up there. So $36,000 is what I have paid him. But that is not it either. I have referred him. You look around my neighborhood right now, and I keep seeing his trucks everywhere. I have referred him so much business. So it's probably that $1 million formula. I really think this is $1 million formula.
All right, before I go to the next slide, go ahead and give them the preview of the next one.
All right. So I know I want to jump my stories with the slides, but so when Sue had me do this with my construction company, I took one of our contractors. I work with multiple contractors, but I took one and I did the formula, looked at how much, each typical job was and how long we were doing business with them. And I was so in shock and I kept going. I kept telling Sue, I'm like, something isn't adding up here. It's not adding up. So in 20 years, and actually, I think we're almost on 23 years, so I'd love to do this again. In 20 years, I did over $100 million with this one contractor, just this one contractor in repeat business, in referral business. Yes, they're a general contractor and they do refer me to other general contractors because they know us, they like us, they trust us, they know that what we say we're going to do, we take care of our customers. So we have that loyalty with them. I mean, they just referred us out to another contractor. They couldn't do the work. And it was like, it sometimes just boggles my mind, but I'm going to challenge you to take your business, use that formula and see where you're at and take it a step further. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be?
Exactly. And so it's basically this, your goal in your life is to create raving fans for your business. So I always reference this book called Zilch. If you haven't read that, write it down. Zilch. It's Zilch, like zero. It's how to market your business with no money. I read it years and years and years ago. And one thing that I remember from that book, that this girl wrote it, she said, think about your business kind of like a football team or a baseball team. Okay, sports teams are a business, they're businesses. And what do they have? Raving fans. They have people flying flags in their yard and put signs on their car, and they're wearing hats and shirts. And wouldn't that be amazing for you to have all these raving fans that are out there promoting and wearing your stuff and telling everybody about you? That's what you want.
I want to add something to that because it reminds me. So when I talk about those contractors of mine, we do fundraising events and we'll be at the golf tournaments. And so we have hats and stuff, our little giveaways. I love it when I see my contractors wearing custom plumbing hats, not other people's hats, but custom plumbing. They've got our jackets, they have our totes. They are my raving fans.
That's amazing. You never told me that story before. So, but all of this stuff that we're talking about is getting you a competitive advantage to everybody else. So think about your loyal customers. They're less likely to be swayed by competitor, just like what I was saying. With my after school program that I had, I started out and tutoring, started out low, kept raising my prices until literally we were the highest cost, the highest priced services, and nobody went and found other competitors. They could have gone to a competitor and paid less, but they didn't. They're far more likely to recommend your business to other people, and this is huge. They will provide valuable feedback you can use to continually improve your products and services. In my other event that I do called How to Attract the Right Customers, I always tell the story about this lady who was a grief recovery specialist. When I sold my school, I started helping people start businesses. And oh man, she was so great and she loved me so much. We just had such a great relationship that I literally would go out and take her out for lunch or coffee, and I would ask for her feedback and she would help me. It was amazing. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and the whole thing about relationship marketing is to really get personal with people, get to know them. Because, and I say it in some of my trainings, people buy people, not product and service. I don't care what it is. So you want to focus on building the relationship. Don't make it transactional. Get to know people. You know, I've met some of my best friends by building relationships, not with the intention to get business, but just to meet them as a human. I don't treat people like numbers. I have a whole numbers thing that just irritates me. It was back in the medical arena when my mom was sick, and they called my mom bed 262, and I lost it. My mom was dying. And when they said, go take care of bed 262, I happened to be in the hallway. Well, guess what? My emotions were high, and it was like I went right up to that nurse's desk and I just laid it out on him. And I said, do not ever treat people like that. You don't know who's standing in the hallways. These are human beings. They are not numbers. And it's the same thing with your business. And I did. It changed the way that hospital now treats their patients. They do not call them bed 262. They
Mhm.
are addressed by their name. And do that with your business. I have people in business who give me your account number. No, we've been doing business for 20 years. You know, you can look me up by my name. I have this, it's a pet peeve of mine. Do not treat people like numbers. Get to know them on that personal level, and they're more likely to do business with you. That is not a lie. And I hear it all the time from people. We do business with you, Cherri, because of who you are.
That's right.
So people want to feel seen and not sold to. So when you're out there and you're building a relationship, make sure that intention is to get to know people, not do not make it transactional.
Yeah, and when looking at the ladies with the coffee cups, it makes me think of Starbucks. Just think of Starbucks. They do not say, "Hey, order number 32 is ready." They put your name on the cup. Sue, your order's ready. I mean, that makes such a huge difference when you do that. One tiny little tweak. It's amazing. So the thing is, make your customers feel appreciated. And I'll tell you this right now, when you do all this stuff, customers will not leave you because of price. I've already given you a tip like what happened with my business. But the bottom line really is that 89% of customers will leave you because they don't feel appreciated. I remember this other restaurant that I went there for the same thing. Everything I always felt really good. I felt they talked to me by my name. They remembered my orders, all that kind of stuff. Then they got a new company took over. They sold it, and there was no appreciation whatsoever. I did not feel appreciated at all. They didn't even thank you when you left the restaurant, and I was gone. I was done. So it's rarely, rarely, rarely about the price.
I want to jump in on this too, Sue, real quick. We have somebody in the waiting room. uh, uh, it reminds me of my insurance broker, and I haven't told this
Uh,
story in a while.
oh, I love this.
Yeah, and I've been with him for over 25 years. Over 25 years, he's been my broker. And then things changed because I got the best customer service with him. It just talk I could call night or day, especially when I lost my house in the 2017 wildfires. I mean, he was there. I think he received a call from me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he took my call. Same thing. They merged with another company, and they lost that customer service was gone. So I have given this guy multi-million dollars, millions and millions in because he's had my property, my company, my rentals, everything. And guess what? He lost a big, big chunk of it. And I flat out told him, he's like, why are you leaving me? I said, because your customer service stinks. You used to be really good with it. I said, but I need to have people who treat me as a human being, not just another number. And it was like, it hit him hard. He has a little bit left of my business, not much. Okay, so be responsive. This is another thing that drives me crazy. We were just kind of having a little conversation about that this morning. When you're slow at responding back to your customers, and I even take it a step further, we're on Alignable, right? You're building relationships with people, you're having your one-to-ones. Make sure you're responding, because that earns that loyalty, right? People don't trust you if it takes you forever to get back to them. And I think about the story when I had met somebody that I wanted to do business with at a networking event, actually. And I responded, I followed up. I was really intrigued by what she had to offer. And I never heard from her. 3 or 4 months went by. And we finally ran into each other again at a networking event. And she goes, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you right away. Are you ready to talk about my business and how I can help you? And I said, no, I moved on. She goes, I made a big mistake. She did. She did not respond to me. So make sure you are responding to people in a timely manner. When you respond in that timely manner, it's going to build that trust. People remember how quickly you show up.
I love
And
that
they also remember those ones that take forever to respond. I will never forget her there.
Well, we're going to accept questions when we're done. So hold on. Yeah, no, I love that story. I remember you said, and it was somebody that had a product that lots of other people sell, and you went and found someone else to do it. And it's like, oh God, that's such a powerful story right there. This is what I teach in my how to attract the right customers, and you should come to that on the next Wednesday. You've got to know everything about your ideal customer. You got to know what their pain points are. I always say you got to know what makes them cry themselves to sleep at night. You got to understand what that is, okay? What makes them feel like the girl on the left, and how can you help them feel like the girl on the right, okay? So the better you understand what people are going through, the better that you can help them. So the whole bottom line is, people are not, like Cherri said, people aren't buying your products. One, they're buying you, but what they're really buying is the solution to their pain. Okay, so that's the marketing messages. Come to my trainings on Wednesday and you can learn a lot more about how you can do that. But that's why you have to understand them. And on the opposite side, what motivates them? What gets them up in the morning and gets them excited? What is it that really, really motivates them? And understand, when you understand that, you can speak to them better. So people buy emotionally, and then they justify it logically. I kind of like that one. So anyway, let's keep going to the next one.
Yeah, I love this. And I love that we know these statistics, and Alignable actually did a poll a few years back about referrals, because again, we're on our networking platform, right? And to get to know people, and the referrals were coming in at a pretty high rate for Alignable. It was 96% showed that it was word of mouth referrals over that 20% traditional marketing, right? I call it. So people trust people. Again, it goes back to that product. So 92% of the consumers trust recommendations from friends and family over any other form of advertising. I'm not going to go and search, and I don't look at the product reviews or something. I'm going to look at reviews from people that I know that have used, or I'm looking at the word of mouth referrals. I lost my train of thought, so I apologize for that. But referrals are the best advertising. I have never advertised in my plumbing company, in my healing practice, in anything that I do. I don't advertise. It's always the referrals. Best advertising on the planet.
It is. One of my favorite stories, if you guys haven't read this book, write it down. You should go read this. It's a short, really, really good read called How to Sell Anything to Anybody by Joe Girard. He is dubbed the world's greatest salesman. He wrote this book many, many, many years ago. His claim to fame is that he was a car salesman and he sold 13,001 cars in 15 years. So he averaged selling 6 cars every single day was his average. I mean, he was amazing. And I love his stories because when he went in, the whole thing is when he decided to become a car salesman, this was back in the day where car salesman was a very bad thing. It's like that of such a bad reputation. And so he said, I'm not going to be like all the other car salesmen. So what his basic, to summarize the book in a little tiny, the lesson that I learned in here is that every single person he met, and I don't mean people that just walked in or that he sold a car to, anybody, he could be standing in line at the coffee shop, and everyone he met, he would get to know them. He would learn about their families. He would even get their birthdays and their anniversaries, and he'd learn who their kids were and get their birthdays. He would just know everything about them. And guess what he did? He would send handwritten cards. This is many years ago, before the internet or anything. And he would send cards, 13 cards a year, to every single person he met, whether it was their birthday, anniversary, or maybe he just wanted to say, hey, it's nice, I'm thinking about you, whatever. He would do that. So I want you to think about this. Imagine that you meet somebody, one of your friends says, oh my God, I was just in an accident, or my car broke down, I have to buy a new car. What are you going to do if Joe is sending you every single month? You're hearing from him, and it's nice. It's not an advertisement. It's a card, something that says, I really appreciate you. I'm thinking about you, whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. But he's the top of your mind. Who are you going to tell that person to go buy a car from? You're going to go, well, there's nobody else that I would buy a car from than Joe. Here's his contact information. So you got to stay top of mind with people. And Cherri does a whole thing on this. You definitely need to go to her event. But just remember this, and you probably heard it before, but if not, people don't care how much you know. I was just at a networking event and everybody's out there telling everybody how great they are. But they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you got to care about people.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And a long time ago, Sue asked me if I ever read that book, and no, I hadn't, right? But it's actually who I am and what I do and what I've done my whole entire life. So that is in my training, how to stay top of mind without being annoying. It's really my fortune is in the follow-up event. And I do talk about that, but it is showing that gratitude and that appreciation towards people that really drives that customer loyalty. It is, people remember how you make them feel. It's not
Whoops.
it's sorry, you when you switch slides.
Sorry.
No, it's just my head was wrapped around it. So again, it's just thanking and appreciating them on every aspect. And so I go in depth on my training about it. So make sure you come to how to stay top of mind without being annoying. And I give you some tips. So, and it goes right back to the power of appreciation. People recognize you when you're constantly appreciating. You are staying top of mind. It's a connection point. You're also, anytime you're connecting with people, new people, you need to appreciate and love on them as well, especially if you want to do business with them. And then repeat the cycle, repeat what you're doing. Keep gratitude and appreciation in every single thing you do. Small gestures make big impacts. And relationship marketing, it really is relationship marketing in action. You're engaging with the people in multiple different levels. You're adding value. You're staying top of mind. That's why I tell people, if you are not staying top of mind, you are leaving millions of dollars on the table. And that is not a lie. You are leaving millions because there's no reason that your businesses cannot make millions of dollars. And it's creating that loyalty and that trust. So be present, be helpful, be remembered. Don't be transactional. You've got to change that mindset to be relational instead of transactional. And that is where the gold is. I promise that.
Absolutely. And it says on that phone, people don't just buy from you, they stay. When you do this, they stay. Remember, like customer lifetime value. The whole thing you want to do is oh, okay. So I have to say this because it just drives me crazy, especially people that buy big things like houses and cars and refrigerators. The people that sell that stuff, they think, oh, they're not going to buy another one for a lot of years, so I don't have to keep in touch with them. Well, that's baloney, and you're going to see why in a minute. But you want to always, 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 how do you take care of those customers, even if they're past customers? I'm going to tell a good story in a minute. And here's the thing, the tangible thank you card, the tangible one, the one they send in the mail, not a text message. Those are all great. But that card generates more referral business than any other form of communication. It is amazing to me, and I know Sherri's probably sitting here wanting to say something here real quick, but it's so true. It's like so many people forget about uh, saying thank you. Okay, it does so much for you, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Think about this, Mary Kay. Everybody knows Mary Kay. They've been around for 150 years. I don't know how many years, a lot of years, ever since I was a little girl. And Mary Kay, multi-billion dollar industry, she taught all of her reps to write 3 handwritten thank you notes every night before they went to bed. Still in business, still making bazillions of dollars. Okay. Tom Hopkins, the How to Master the Art of Selling. He's written a lot of books. He has something that he talks about in his books called the thank you note habit. And he built a multi-million dollar real estate empire. And his whole thing, he teaches this, write 10 handwritten thank you notes every single day. Every single day. Thank you. Think of someone that you got to thank. It's so huge because the bottom line is we always say this. Sherri and I probably say this more than anything. People buy you. They know you, like you, trust you, know you, love you, trust you, whatever you want to say. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. But the bottom line is it's only if they remember you. I I mean, it's funny. I'm here in Phoenix and I've met a lot of people because I've been here for a while now. I'm not traveling the country right at the moment. And so I'm starting to meet a lot of realtors, for example. And Sherri called a while back. She said, I'm thinking about maybe buying a house in Phoenix. And there was all these realtors I could send to her. But it's a realtor that stayed in touch with me, the one that's at top of my mind. It might not be the best realtor that I'm going to refer, but it's whoever is top of my mind right then. And here's my big story. Don't forget your past customers. So there was a realtor. Let's just keep going with the realtor thing. He posted this picture a while back, of several years ago, and it just got me. And he said, I just made the most expensive mistake of my entire life. And it was right after the holidays. And he told the story. He said, you know what? He goes, here's the thing. Every year I send holiday cards to my prospects and my current customers, but I've never sent holiday cards to my past customers that I helped buy and sell their house until that year. He'd said, but I did it this year, and look what I just got back in the mail. All these envelopes, not at this address, returned to sender. And he said, what the heck? What is this? Why am I getting all these? These are their addresses. Well, he went to the MLS and he did some research and he found out all of those people, his past customers, bought and sold houses with other realtors. And then he went a step further, as you can see in the picture. He figured out how much money he lost in commissionable sales. Millions of dollars in commissionable sales he lost because of one thing. He didn't stay in touch. Does that break your heart? Like literally, I'm getting chills right now because it just, oh, it's so sad to me. If they don't remember, they're gonna forget you. Sherri teaches this in all of her trainings all the time. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
and I even just not too long ago too, I was working with a real estate agent, not mine, another one, because I work with a lot of different industries on this. And he's like, I don't want to send to my past clients because they left me and we didn't, I don't know why they left. Anyway, we had this whole conversation. We worked out this strategy and I said, let's try this. I said, I want you to go back to your past customers and I want you to send these cards. And we were very strategic with it. And he called me up, and I even have the text messages and the emails and everything because he was so excited. He got back, I think he sent out 50 on his past clients. He got 10 clients back because of the card system and strategies that we put in place. 10 of
Wow.
his clients that he thought they were gone. He's
Wow.
like, all I have to do is thank, appreciate, love on, and stay top of mind. I said, that's what we all have to do. And he's like, and so he is one of my loyal clients in my other business that uses this and tells everybody. So talk about, that happy, satisfied customer who uses a system I use, and he's telling everybody about it.
Oh my God.
But he got back 10
Wow.
clients.
You haven't
How
told me
cool
that
is
story.
that? I know. Well, I was thinking because he surfaced back in my top of mind list just this last week, and I was like, oh
Amazing.
yeah. So it just the story just re-resonated in my brain. So it's huge. You
Oh my
have to
God.
stay in touch with people, and you have to appreciate them.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're you could tell it's just such an in our hearts. But the bottom line is relationships build loyalty. Happy customers stay with you. And I hope you got a lot out of this today because I really want you to go and really sit down and spend some time looking at all of your customers, current, past, prospects, everything, and figure out how you can reach out to them. And if you want a really good, really, really, really good system that Sherry uses, definitely set up time with her. So we are going to have time for questions. Actually, let's see if anybody has any questions right now. Go ahead and raise your virtual hand if you can. Just go down to that heart and raise your hand if you have any questions for Sherry and I. And then we've got some things to share with you here at the end. Anybody questions, comments? Any ahas? Someone had their hand up earlier. Did he leave? I guess. Mitesh, did you? Oh yeah, Evelyn, go ahead.
Yeah, when you send I recently sent a postcard to everyone, my entire mailing list, right, for 7 years. I sent everyone a postcard, just a little summary kind of snippet. And I send Christmas cards to everyone I worked with that year. But and then I occasionally do a constant contact mailer. But it do you do a follow-up after that? You just send it out and hope they connect with you back, or do you then aggressively? I've heard you can aggressively call them, like mail call, mail call. Do you?
Well, I'll go first and then I want Sherry to answer this. But I'm going to say one thing. I want you to think about, and I'm going to have Sherry say this. What exactly are you sending? If you're sending a holiday card with your business card in it, that's turning people off. So you got to really think about what you're sending. But Sherry, go ahead and answer her question.
Yeah, it's just what is the intention? So when I send, and again, I didn't know Joe Gerard's story, and I am that person who sends 13 touches a year to my customers, past
Mhm.
customers, prospects, and the intention is to appreciate and love on. So
Oh,
I have no, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies when somebody sends me a birthday card or a Christmas card and they have business cards in there and they say, Merry Christmas and happy birthday. And oh, by the way, here's 10 cards that you can pass out to people who could use my
oh
services.
no.
I'm like, the intention wasn't to be kind and in gratitude and appreciation. It was a sales pitch. It was icky. So when
But
I send cards, I'm just sending. If I want something in return, it could be a PSA that I will send out. So I send out a PSA, so public service announcement for my plumbing company. I will say, hey, don't forget to descale your water heater. Reach out to the office so we can get you on a schedule soon. But that's just mixed in with all the other love and kindness that they're getting.
right.
If you only send transactional, that's what people think that you're all about is transaction.
But she wants to know about how about following up after that?
You can, that's what I'm saying. But the birthday cards, you're not going to follow up on that. The holiday cards, you're not going to follow up on that. You have to, that's where you got to be strategic with card sending. You can follow up on the PSAs. You can follow up on some of them.
All right.
Again, I work with people and we build strategies around that. You've got to have a strategy around it.
Okay.
Yes, I love it. Carla.
All right, so I don't know, I'm pretty isolated in Edmonton most of the time. So I do a lot on social media. And it does feel somewhat transactional because yes, I am, working to build a following, things like that. Although I do enjoy getting to know people and getting to know the people who actually do choose to, follow me. I'm very grateful for that. But how do I, on social media, like I totally feel like handwritten cards and things like that are definitely the way to go. But if you don't have, their address or their phone number, you just have what you have like on Facebook, for example, or LinkedIn. Would you do you recommend just sending out like a from the heart message and to each person? Is that as effective?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to answer this one because this question comes up a lot. If you do want to send the actual cards, here's a fun thing that I did. And this is people ask me all the time, how do you get your addresses? And I tell them just ask for it. And they give it to you. But I just have to tell you this funny story. So I used to do this on social media all the time because I moved to this new location. I found out I had a sister on Ancestry. Long story. I ended up moving it up where Sherry lives in Northern California, and that's how I met her. And I was building. I had a lot of people around the area that I wanted to meet. Anyway, on social media, here's what I do. I'd say, uh, hey, post your favorite pet picture. I just randomly, and pets were great. And that was my favorite one. And everybody was posting their dog, their cat, their bird, their whatever. And here's what I did. I messaged every single one of them and said, oh my gosh, Carla, thank you for your cute picture of Fluffy. I'd love to send you and Fluffy a surprise. What's your mailing address? And they're like, oh, I don't want to give you my email. I'm like, I don't want your email. I want your mailing address. I'm going to send you a surprise. They're like, really? Oh my gosh. Only one person out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, one person did not give me their mailing address. So trust me when I tell you, if you do something like that, so you say, I want to send you something. I send Sherry, I think, says things like, I love sending holiday or birthday cards or something like that. What's your birthday? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And when you tell someone you're going to send them a surprise or send them something like that, they will give it to you. And then on a second note, your other question, like if it's a decision maker or somebody that you
Hmm.
want to get into a company, those addresses, you can find their office addresses easily and you send them something. And I'll give you one more quick thing. And this guy wanted speaking engagements. He's a speaker and he wanted to go and speak to these organizations. And he said what he did is, every time he would call, he'd have some secretary, who was the gatekeeper, and he could never get to these decision makers. So he said, I'm going to send them a package. So the card system Sherry does, you can send a box of brownies, for example, or whatever. And so he would send that decision maker a card with a box of brownies. And of course, the secretary's not opening that, and that's how he got to that's an outside the box marketing tip, by the way. But it's a way to get to those decision makers. Anyway, I
Oh,
went off on a tangent.
So,
I want
so
to
my
chime in real
other,
quick. I want to
oh,
chime in real quick though. So Sue's talking about the cards and getting the mail. So I do a lot of stuff on social media too, because I want my presence out there. And I will, when I see somebody that's been following me or in my sphere of people, and I don't have their mailing address, the system I use, we can send the digital cards through Facebook Messenger.
That's
And
right.
okay.
that card has actually they love it so much because I personalize it to whatever is going on in, whatever milestone was going on in their world. And then they get the card digitally. And then there's a thing that they could say, oh, I need this card because you put this really cool picture on there. And then they put then I get their address. So then they get not only the digital, they get the card in the physical mailbox. And I mean, and I've done that with people. I've done that in the women in construction group, for instance. There was some really cool milestones, and I didn't know who they were, and I just thought I need to give this person some love, and I sent it. And it's like that person now stays in touch with me. I didn't even know them, but they stay in touch and they're following us right now in our business with purpose. They follow us because of that touch point.
By the way, if you want, there's not a lot of people in here. If you guys want to put your addresses or send Cherri your address, she'll send you one. They're really fun, actually. Any other
The
quick
other
question?
part,
Oh, go ahead,
oh,
Carla.
I'm sorry. I had another part to that question.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, no, no. Please
Um,
ask.
so I've been in sales for a while now, and but not the same company. I've switched companies quite a few times. So how do you like when it's on social media and people are kind of aware of what you were doing as opposed to what you will be doing for the rest of your life? How do you kind of make that switch so that people start to trust you again? In terms of not thinking, that you're flighty or something like that because you've been with different companies.
Well, I think that's a longer conversation. Maybe just set up some time. I'm not a social media person, so you
Okay.
might want to find a social media expert to talk about that kind of stuff. But it's all about building
Okay.
relationships. I think what we would both tell you is that as long as you built the relationships with those people, I'm not a social media person. I don't feel like that's a whole lot of ways you have to go the next step further and actually touch them and talk to them. I think that's it. So,
And to piggyback on that, that's where actually sending the cards, and I've had people do that who have switched professions. And they said, you
Mhm.
know what, I value the relationship we have. I just want you to know I've transitioned into something else that I'm super excited about. And I'm here if you want to have a conversation. So,
yeah, I love it.
yeah.
Okay.
I love that. Okay, we're going to keep going because
Thank
we're
you.
almost done here. We want to tell you guys, Cherri, maybe you can post businesswithpurpose.org is our website. We have a nonprofit where we help business owners with education, with community. We have our own Business with Purpose community on Alignable. Hopefully you're in there. And there's events every single day, including weekends. There are Smart Connects in there with our team. And we are all about building relationships and getting to know each other more on a personal level. Our events we've been told many times. Cherri called me and she goes, my gosh, I've heard from so many people tell us that our events are way better and different than everybody else's on Alignable. So here is where you can find it when you go to businesswithpurpose.org. Just go to events and you can see our upcoming events calendar. We have a whole line of events on the left. You just scroll and see all of our different events, and then you can register on Alignable. We also have a BWP TV. We interview business owners and authors from our books that I'll tell you about in the next second, but you can find everything you want here. And then this is another way to find our Alignable community. If you want to find event replays and resources, that's also under the events tab. So here's the one I was talking about, how to attract the right customers. This one will be on this page. You'll be able to see that there. And Cherri's going to have some of her events on that replay page. Definitely go to this events page to find Cherri's events tell them your events that you do, the titles.
So, well, I do, my Smart Connects are fun, effective one-to-one networking. So I do a training on that. And they also have my Fortune in the Follow-Up, which is the event is called How to Stay Top of Mind Without Being Annoying. And it really is the Fortune in the Follow-Up.
Awesome. And then finally, I want everybody to go, when you go back here, if you could look up at the top where it says publishing, click that publishing link. I will tell you right now, if you want to stay top of mind with all of your clients, you don't hand them a business card, especially if you're out there networking in person. You don't hand them a business card. You hand them a book. If you have a book with your name and your picture on it, and it says that you're an expert in that industry, they will never throw that book away because it's impossible to throw a book away. It sticks to your hand if you try to throw it in a trash can. Business cards go in trash cans. These are also books that you can send ebooks to, or you can mail people your book. Sherry, my books are on the other side of the room, if you can hold them up. This is brand spanking new, and I just got mine. Sherry's holding up my book, and the other guy that has done the book, Sherry's book, will be out in the next couple of days. And you can actually publish your own book in our expert series. And what this is, in a really fast thing, a really fast 2 seconds, is you can literally become an author in one of these books, and you could be put on this row of books here with your name, picture, title, and your small book. These are small little books that you hand out as business cards in a week. In a week, we have the system down to where you could literally have one of these books in 1 week. And I'm going to give you something really fun to do. I want you to go back to, actually, let me stop the share and show you where to go. Go to the website and actually put it in the chat, Cherry. If you can do bwpexpert.org, that'll take you to the site, bwpexpert.org, or you can find it on publishing. And then under the expert series, you can actually, there's a really fun thing to do. I want you all to do this and send them to us. You can create your title of your book. It's a book title creator that you get to put in what you do, who you serve, what problems you solve for your customers or your clients. And it will come up with a bunch of title ideas. And if you want to be in the book, what you do is you send us a form that gives you the title ideas, and we'll walk you through how to become one of our business with purpose experts. And finally, sorry, I don't have my little thing going here. We also publish books. We just published a compilation book with 42 authors. Sherry's going to hold that up probably too. I don't know if you have her there. You get to be, if you're an expert author in our expert series, you get to be in one of our next books for free. We have one for women entrepreneurs, one for veterans, one for reinvented entrepreneurs. I think all of us have done that, and one for pet business owners. So anyway, that's everything for today. Any last words, Sherry?
Yep, I'm just going to say with these books, when Sue talks about this replaces the business card. I was at a networking event the other night and I had contractors there and they were like, "Oh my God, I need to meet with you because I have a very successful plumbing company." And they're like, "I need to learn how to do. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Can I meet with you?" I said, "Yeah, you can meet with me, but here, let me give you this." I gave him this book. I said, "Read this first and let's have a conversation." Guess what? I've got a client.
Amazing.
Because of this book. Every single person who's in business is an expert in one way or another. And so you need to show people that they want to work with experts.
Yeah, we're starting a pretty big movement here with business with
It's a huge movement.
And that's what we're doing. We're going, my books are falling off there. But anyway, any questions? I think Sherry and I have a meeting after this together, but we can hang out if you guys have any other questions or comments or anything like that.
Awesome.
Evelyn, did you? It looks like you're
No,
ready
I have to go, but thanks. It's very encouraging. I might look into some of this stuff. Thank you.
All right.
Evelyn, I'll get in touch with you about some of the local events because I am coming down your way. I'm making my way across the bridge here.
Okay.
So I will see
Cross the bridge through the tunnel.
Yeah. I'll see you in person.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Sherry, you grabbing some of the mailing.
I just saved the chat.
You got it. Okay.
I saved the chat.
All right. Bye, everybody. Oh, we can just, okay.
Well, we got to go out of this.
Oh, I got to end it.